from outer space, that's who I be. Send with a message for the human race, that's who I be.
Greetings, aliens! Yay! Welcome to the new season of the Alien Nation. I am your host and queen of the aliens, MJ Baker. Applause here. Hey, hey, hey girl, hey girl, hey girl, hey y'all, hey y'all, hey y'all. We back. Okay, here on the new season of the Alien Nation, we are learning to live authentically with no F's given. Now, how do we do that? What does that look like? I hope that each week that you will tune in to see how maybe through a story I tell or some experiences that may be shared through an interview that you'll grab something from that and that it'll be a catalyst to kind of be a catalyst for the transition of change in your life, or an affirmation that, hey, I am going in the right direction. This is definitely where I'm supposed to be. And for those of you who are new to the Alien Nation, who are like, well, what the heck is an alien? And yeah, I know those things on flying saucers, and that's what people talk about, but what is she talking? Why is she calling me an alien? So alien is an acronym for authentically living, intrinsically evolving naturally. And each week I'm going to share, the people I interview are going to share where we are on the spectrum of that acronym. You know, are you living your most authentic life? Are you living versus just trying to survive? You know, are you evolving? Are you being intrinsic about everything that you do? And are you doing it naturally? So the whole premise of the Alien Nation is a movement to motivate, to cultivate, and to revolutionize how we live our everyday lives, right? Because we live this life that sometimes can be so full of, you don't know who's real and who's not, you know. And although social media is an amazing gift because we get to touch people all over the world, it also sometimes can be a bit daunting because, you know, we can pretend a lot more on social media than we can, you know, in person with people and the people around us. So this week I am going to share with you all where I am right now. Where am I on the spectrum of the alien spectrum right now? And I, on the alien spectrum, am evolving. And I realize that in this season of my life, there are a lot of things that I want. I want to grow mentally, physically, emotionally, and financially. And that requires, a must of me is to evolve and to get out of who I used to be and embrace who I am and who I am going to be. So evolving is my word, because evolution requires growth, it requires change, and I am just being summoned in this season of my life to do better, to be better, to be more consistent, and thus why I'm jumping back on the Alien Nation show, because it was definitely not something that I ideally wanted to do. I always wanted to, if I was ever going to do a show, wanted it to be me and someone else, you know. But what I realized when the concept of the show came to me, that this was something, a journey that I have been called to do on my own. Just like there are journeys and things that you yourself have been called to do on your own. And so hopefully this show every week we can come together and share where we are. Where are you on the alien spectrum? I want you to put that in the comments. Let me know. Share with me your story. I love to hear it. Eventually, this community is going to grow into a community where we can engage a little bit more with each other, because we need other people to help us to continue to grow in this process. All right, so what we're going to talk about today is in this new episode, this new season, yes, I want to talk about what do you do while you're in transition of change and transformation. In thinking about, I just thought about how I was telling you guys about me going through evolution and evolving. And in that evolution, it requires me to not do the same things that I used to do, to move differently, to think differently, and to be able to live a different kind of life, like not living in a world of scarcity. But how do you do that? You have to change your whole mindset. You have to think differently. You have to talk differently. You have to wake up different. I just wanted to share with you all 5 things to do while you're in transition. Okay? Just 5 things. And you can add to that list how you want to. 5 is the number of grace. So, hey, and in transition, baby, let me tell you, you need grace. You need a lot of grace. How do I know. All right, so number 1, be quiet. And what do I mean by be quiet? When you are going through that period, your period of transition, you can't tell everybody what you're doing, how you doing it, and why you doing it. Like right now, I have a core group of friends. I love each and every one of those people. I love them to life. You hear me? They have been with me through some things, and vice versa. I've been with them through some things as well. However, when I moved from Jacksonville, Florida to Charlotte, North Carolina, I did not understand the level of growth, of evolution, of change that I was going to make. And I did not know how to verbalize it. And even now, sometimes I don't know how to verbalize it. I don't know how to, because it is, when you're going through transition, there's a lot of internal work that needs to be done. It's not like you're just crossing the street. As you are crossing the street, you also got to look at the light, make sure the light, that you don't get ran over. You have to make sure your timing is right before you cross that street. You got to check with the sun and the moon and the stars to make sure that there is some spiritual alignment going on. You need to meditate and pray before you cross that street of transition. And in the midst of all of that, sometimes you're not going to always have the words, and you're not going to always be able to articulate it. And I want you to know that's okay. And sometimes you're not always going to be able to share what you're feeling, because not everybody is going to understand. And because I know sometimes I have shared some things with my friends, and it was like wah wah wah, wah wah wah. There wasn't no sense. I didn't even know what I was saying, because my mindset, your mindset is shifting, and it's like your old self and your new self are doing this. And as the transition is happening, there's a blend. There's a blend happening here, right? And as that blend is happening, this is your new self. But the old self still trying to fight to get, uh, don't let me go. So sometimes you're not going to have the language. These next four things I feel will help you in that process when you're being quiet. There are going to be moments where you just going to need to talk to somebody. And I believe the universe, I believe God will send that person, and it could be out of that crew of people that you always hung with. But it may also be a new person, which that happened for me. A new person came into my life where I could kind of yeah, 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 and they could interpret it and understand where I was completely. Okay, so number 2, remain self-reflective. Why is that important? Because just like I said, transition is this. It is a blend, it is an exchange. It is now your new and old are swapping. The old is transitioning out, the new is transitioning in, and during that time we have to become even the more self-aware, because in the midst of that transition, you are filtering out. And a lot of that filtering out can include dealing with traumas that you've ignored, dealing with, healing, forgiving people that you have, you just like, I don't F with them, and that's just what it is, and that's just how I do it. But when you are going to a higher state of a higher self, when you are going to a higher place from where you currently are, the same stuff that you used to do, the unforgiveness, the pushing things to the side, stuffing things down, you're not going to be able to do that anymore. And I'm going to give y'all an example from my life. I was in therapy, going through different things in my life, but I was growing, I was evolving. And I remember I had a dream. And in that dream, it was like, those deep freezers, the the yeah, the rectangular deep freezers. Anybody who you know, it's in the usually in the garage, in your mama house or your grandma house. Okay, and in my case, in my mama house. So it was a deep freezer, and there was a refrigerator. And so the refrigerator was busting open, and stuff was spilling out of it. And so I was like, no. And I was stuffing the items back into the refrigerator. But the refrigerator just kept busting open, and it kept coming out. And so I did the whole, I'm stuffing it back in a couple of times. And when I, so then the last time I had stuffed the stuff in there, and I was holding the doors shut. I was holding them shut like this. If you can just imagine me, somebody pressing up against a refrigerator trying to, keep it closed. And I hear this voice say, Megan, you have to allow what's in to come out. You can no longer stuff it in. You can no longer hide it. You have to actually deal with it. And I woke up, first of all, like, whoa, that was deep. And secondly, I called my therapist and was like, can we have an emergency session, girl? Because I got a message from on high and I need help. And so through that discussion, and it was simplified, I'm sure you guys figured it. So what it was that the spirit was saying to me, hey girl, those things that you have stuffed down, those traumas, the stuff that you have been ignoring, it's no under lock and key, because now you are going to another level. You have got to deal with these things. And so one by one I started dealing with things. And I'm still unpacking that refrigerator. I'm still unpacking that deep freezer. But in the process, what the results were, my friendship shifted and changed. That definitely shifted and changed my life. So the self-reflection is so important because the things that we become brave enough to let out and to release, they are exchanged for love, for healing, for kindness, for joy. They're exchanged because those things that we stuff within us are not allowing us to grow. Okay? So, number 3, don't be afraid to research. Don't be afraid to find out. You know, there's a phrase that say, "F and find out, frickin' find out." Go ahead and frickin' find out in research. Go ahead and find out, because what through my healing process, through my transition, through my evolution, through my growth, as we start growing, as we start moving, as we start going, stuff is gonna start coming to you. New terms, new words, new opportunities. And we have to work at being ready for that, or understanding where we are. Like spirit deals with me concerned with words, which I think we all get words, but I get words. And I was riding in my car and the word codependence came to me. And I was like, codependent? Who codependent? Well, I looked it up and I realized I lived in a world of codependency most of my life. And so, what I'm saying to you in this, being able to do the research, if I hadn't have been obedient to hearing, and then the doing part was the research, and then meditating and praying on codependency, and what does that look like in my life, and how am I being codependent, and okay, and how can I stop being that way? What is the root of it? Why? Oh, okay, because I saw my mother do a whole bunch of codependent things when it came to her relationship with my father, her relationship with her children. Okay, I get it now. All right, I saw that behavior. I thought it's cool. And then also having abandonment issues, having daddy issues, having mommy issues. Because if I hadn't have done that research, if I wasn't being self-reflective, and then I would have missed it, and it would have delayed my growth. It would have delayed my evolution. Number 4, set boundaries. Setting boundaries is so important during this stage of your life, as you're transitioning and you're evolving and you're growing. Why? Why is setting boundaries so important? Because setting boundaries is a safety net for you. It is like, like how a worm builds a cocoon so that they can turn into a butterfly. That is setting boundaries. The worm is saying, I don't hate the world. I don't hate you. I don't hate Mother Earth or none of y'all, but I got to hibernate. I got to wrap up because I need to evolve. Setting boundaries is a part of self love, it is a part of growth, it is part of understanding. And so, it is so very important to do that. And, and like I'll give an example for me. A couple of months ago, a family member of my person that I was hanging out with, and they don't know this person, they just know what they see, right? And so they were just like, "Ooh, you friends with so and so?" And had all these things to say. And I said, "Hey, keep your opinions over there. I don't care. That's my friend. I like him. Okay?" They proceeded to go on and on and on about their opinion and their thoughts. And I said, "I'm done." And so what I did was, now I did get hot. Okay? I did get fiery because, baby, my sun sign is a Capricorn, but my moon is Leo. And my rising is Gemini. So you put that air with that fire, honey, and you got a forest fire. Okay? So I did go off because the person just kept going. What I said to them was, hey, you're crossing a boundary. Because I spent a lot of my life allowing people to say what they say, any and everything to me, because I wanted to be accepted and I wanted to be liked. But when you're going through transition and growth, you ain't always gonna be liked, and you're gonna be all right. You have to be all right with that. All right, so number 5, be intentional. This is really important, because being intentional about the moves that you make, the thoughts that you think as you grow and you evolve. Setting intention can be also being more careful about how we move and who and the direction we go in, and why are we going in that direction. And am I really supposed to do this particular thing, or should I be like chilling? Should I go out with my friends tonight, or should I study about how to build a website for my business? Or do I sit at home and build this website that I've been building all week? Or do I allow myself to have some fun and take a break with my girlfriends or my boyfriends or them and they? Being intentional is being guided to align with your purpose and with who you are authentically. Because who you are authentically is the power. Who you are authentically is going to lead you to your healing. It's going to lead you to those millions of dollars that you desire to make in your life. It's going to lead you to the strategy that you need to help take care of your family. It's going to lead you to the strategy that you need to be a mover and a shaker. It's going to lead you to the strategy that you need to be the best singer-songwriter in the world, to be the best actress, to be the best accountant. It's going to lead you there, but you have to know and you have to feel it. So let's go over these 5 things again. And listen, if you want to go in more in depth about any of these points, we can definitely do that. Just let me know in the comments below. So the 5 things to do while in transition: be quiet, remain self-reflective, research, set boundaries, and be intentional. All right. So thank you guys so much for your time this week. Alien Nation, yes, learning to live authentically with no fucks given. So I love you guys. Remember to authentically live, intrinsically evolve naturally. And I'll talk to you next week. Bye.
I'm an alien sent from outer space, that's who I be. Sent with a message for the human race, that's who I be.